Hi, so in this video, we're going to be talking about observations. We're in the nature of science, and so we observe the world around us, and that leads us to question and think about why that's happening, and that leads us to seeing a problem and wanting to solve it. And so that's what we're going to be talking about is the first thing we do in science is we observe. We observe the world around us and we look and see what's going on. And so there's kind of two different types of observations. There's direct observation and there's indirect observation. So direct observations is the observations that you see with your eyes, what you look at. My shirt is black, that apple is red, that flower is purple. So you're directly seeing and watching and observing. That car drove past at 10 miles per hour or something. That's an example of observation. There's also indirect observations. Indirect observations are kind of where you're not directly seeing them, but you can indirectly make an observation, whether you're using maybe a microscope or using some type of other mathematical formulas or different kinds of indirect ways of seeing something, but both of these types of observations can lead us to make an inference. An inference is a guess of what you're seeing, why you're seeing what you're seeing. So what's the difference kind of between observations and inferences? Well, first of all, you need to lead with observations. You always start with observations first. Now, those observations need to be factual, so you need to be able to directly see them and be able to see them as fact. So you look at my shirt, it is black. That's an observation. It's not an inference. It's an observation. An inference, though, our observations can lead to forming an inference. So an inference is a proposed reason for why we're seeing that observation. So you're making a guess, a statement about why you think what you're seeing is happening. So it's kind of the why and the prediction or the proposed reason of what's going on. All right, so just take a second and look at these pictures. And just take a moment and look to see, what do you see? It's very interesting. Some people look at this picture up here and they see two older generational people's faces, and sometimes they actually see a people within the face. This person is playing a guitar. There's a person back here. If you look at this one, sometimes people see a face right here, and sometimes people see a statue right here. Some people might just see a tree. Some people might see a face of a tiger. And then this one down here is one of my favorites. This looks like a horse, right? But I also can see see a frog. Isn't that interesting? Can you see the frog there? So it's our perception too, and that's another whole conversation we'll have. So next, I want you to just kind of decide if the statement that I am going to show you is an observation statement or an inference statement. So the boy is in the water. That is an observation. We can see that the boy is in this water, and we see that the ripples show the water. The boy broke the branch. That's an inference. We did not see it happen, but we can infer, we can make a guess that because the boy is under the tree and he's in the water, that maybe he was sitting on the branch and it broke, and that's why he fell in the water. So that's an inference. The goat is by the water. That is an observation. The goat is right next to the water. We can see it. The weather is cold. Now that is an inference. Okay, we don't see snow. This is black and white. We don't see color. He doesn't look very happy to be in the water, but I don't know if that's because he's wet or because he's cold. There's no leaves on this tree, but there is some over here. So you make an inference based off of the other observations that you see. There is a boat floating in the water. You look, there it is right there. So that is an observation. All right, so another name for inference would be, in science, would be hypotheses. So we make hypotheses based off our observations, which leads us to start making predictions and start experimenting to see if those inferences are correct.